We are launching 25 books. Haribol. Some are precious reprints rescued from being out of print. Some are brand new offerings, never before shared with the world. Each one is a jewel, a testament to Maharaj's lifelong devotion to Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. Guru Maharaj has written so many books, 350 plus, that celebrate Prabhupada's greatness, that search the inner landscape of the heart, that challenge us to grow, to be honest, to be courageous, and to be real. It is writing that is intimate, raw, fearless, and deeply devotional. And all of this flows from one quiet room right here in Stuyvesant Falls. A simple ashram room where every morning and every evening and every day without fail, his blazing pen becomes a storm in the quietude. Page after page, day after day, year after year, he sits before his notebook like a soldier of the soul, committed to the service of Srila Prabhupada, committed to the truth, committed to Krishna, and committed to all of us who are fortunate enough to read his books and to distribute his books. So today we gather not only to applaud his lifetime of service, but to pray to Srila Prabhupada, to pray to Krishna, to pray that Guru Maharaj may continue this divine seva for many more years, and that his pen never slows, that his heart remains full, that his voice continues to guide our own. So with deep gratitude and affection, let us begin this sacred celebration. Let's open our hearts, offer our respects, and prepare to hear from Maharaj himself, as he'll be reading from some of the new writings that carry the fragrance of his lifetime of devotion. Shri Prabhupada ki, Guru Maharaj ki.
Raj Kumar.
At Satsvarupa Maharaj's Vyasapuja festival this year, we're fortunate to be able to present even more newly published books than we had in the summer festival. 25 titles altogether. As in the summer, with so many books, only a little can be said about each in the time available. The books, again, fall into three categories. First, those that are entirely newly written. Then we have new old books that were previously only printed in 2 or 3 copies, but are now being made available to the devotees in general. Finally, we have some new editions of old favorites. We'll start with 2 newly written books. This first one, The Letters Project, was started in August of 2024 and mostly finished and revised by Satsvarupa Maharaj by January of this year. The Letters Project was partly inspired by Satsvarupa Maharaj's 1990s book, Dear Sky, Letters from a Sannyasi, and partly by the unavoidable fact that we all face aging and death, whether we are devotees or not. Like Dear Sky, Maharaj writes not just to fellow devotees, but also to places, events, things, anything that might have had an impact upon him or inspired him at some stage. There was also one further qualification for this project. Maharaj would attempt to write the letters in the mood of this, perhaps, being his last opportunity to express his gratitude and appreciation for the person or other entity he was writing to.
Now I'm dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. Your notice me.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Notice has to move down. He's looking down at this one. Yes.
You are the dear. You are the representative of Krishna, and you have saved me from great calamity. Before I met you, I was a lost soul, but you came to me and pulled me out of the well of material suffering. You turned me into a respectable person. Before I met you, I had many sinful habits, like the 4 sinful activities: illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling. I was a lost cause. But the first night I attended your class, In the storefront on 2nd Avenue, I tasted bliss, and I felt I had been saved. Chanting in kirtan with you brought me ecstasy. I was able to give up all my sinful activities in one night, and from then on, I have always been a faithful servitor to you. I became your servant. I became your disciple after one night. Just by meeting you and joining you in kirtan and listening to your lecture, although I couldn't understand your accent so well, I became sworn to serve you always. I have sworn my life to you. I beg you to please always protect me and never kick me away. I always want to be true and faithful to you. Offering obeisances to you in your presence is a great thrill. One imbibes your Holy Spirit by being close to you and bowing down with full hands and feet. To be near you and bow down with hands and feet brings one the greatest pleasure of being a worshiper of the greatest spiritual master. You convey your full blessings to one who sincerely bows down to you and offers you love from the heart. Dear Srila Prabhupada, I am your surrendered soul. Please forgive this fallen soul who only wants to take shelter at your lotus feet and never commit any wrong acts. You are my only savior, and I take shelter in you, begging to remain your surrendered disciple, Dasa Anudasa.
One of the editors has remarked, this may be my last chance at age 85 to make praise of the Hare Krishna devotees and their good work. This may be my last chance, so I don't want to go short on eulogies. I like saying things that are a little haunting, such as this may be my last chance to say something good about another devotee. Life is short for the devotees I'm writing to, and life is certainly short for me at my advanced age. So pull the stops, say good words. This may be my very last chance to do good in the world. Bhakti Marg. This writing project is springing from my creative heart as I gently but firmly and honestly note the presence of persons, places, and things in the course of my lifetime. It is a continuation of Dear Sky, but also much more than that. Perhaps there is no such thing as what psychologists call closure, but what I have chosen is a way to note and honor milestones in a fulfilling life of devotional service. May I continue on this path for as long as Krishna and Prabhupada desire. Satsvarupa Das Goswami, September 24th, 2024.
In the second new book, Mama Tejas, A Spark of My Splendor, Satsvarupa Maharaj shares his personal love of literature. In this experimental treatise, he demonstrates how to analyze a famous book using Krishna consciousness. Mama Tejas focuses on the idea of utilizing our talents in the service of Prabhupada and Krishna. In this case, the art of finding little bits of Krishna's splendor in books by famous authors.
One time I asked Prabhupada, what is the position of those people who I considered heroes when I was younger, my literary heroes? Do they have any value at all? They're not God conscious. He said, their sincerity is their God consciousness. That knocked me over. Their sincerity is their God consciousness. At first, I didn't fully understand the purport of what Prabhupada had said, but I was grateful for his answer, which was a kind of concession to me because he knew I admired the authors and musicians who had been my heroes before coming to Krishna consciousness. And this was very important for me. Since then, I have come to understand Prabhupada's statement in the context of Bhagavad Gita, and I am indeed very happy to have discovered from it the title for this book, Mama Tejas, Spark of My Splendor. The words come directly from Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as spoken in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 41. Yaja vibhuti mat sattvam, trimad urjitam eva chva, tad eva bhagacha tva, mamatejo mamsha sambhavam. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor.
Those authors and musicians whom I looked up to when I was younger were accomplished in their art of writing literature or creating music. A devotee can find within such great works a tiny spark of Krishna consciousness, whether the authors or musicians were fully aware of it or not, in their sincere attempts to communicate some simple realizations they have gained in their pursuit of honest, meaningful expression. In their own ways, they were sometimes seekers of the truth. Their best works could be considered opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations, and any little gems they had been able to express in their attempt to capture some kind of truth with their work are the sparks of Krishna's splendor. Finding these gems is possible for the devotee developing the ability to see Krishna in everything and everything in Krishna. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam chamai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachamena pranashyati. For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. Autobiographical 6:30. This is the theory underlying my writing experiment. The question is, will the result be a work of Krishna conscious literature? I want to find out.
Because it's related to Mama Tejas, we're going to mention a rare old book written by Satsvarupa Maharaj originally published in 1991. Only 400 copies of the first edition were printed, and it was never reprinted. Now we have this beautiful new second edition. My search through books was one of Maharaj's early, sometimes eyebrow-raising experiments in Krishna-conscious writing, which now has a companion in Mama Tejas. Here's a brief excerpt.
When we took to Krishna consciousness under Prabhupada's direction, we threw out all of our past conditioning and entered into the spiritual world. But as the Krishna consciousness movement spreads around the world, it has to contend with Western culture. If someone asks us, "What do you think of Shakespeare's plays?" it will not do to reply, "Who is Shakespeare?" People demand an explanation, an evaluation, not just a categorical rejection. After all, many sincere persons have the conviction that there is something spiritual, profound, and courageous in the writers they read. We will have to show that we also know the depth of those writers, and in some cases sympathize by admitting that we too have been influenced by them. This doesn't mean that we have to delve into the mire of Western literature all over again. After receiving a treasure chest, why put it aside in search of a plastic trinket? Yet it is not wrong to come to terms with our past, especially once we are committed to Krishna consciousness. The purpose of my book is, therefore, mostly a warning that there is nothing of enduring value in Western non-devotional literature. I hope that it can serve as an explanation to those who are not yet acquainted with Krishna consciousness, but who are attached to Western literature. It may also please devotees to take a look down memory lane without danger to reinforce their Krishna conscious convictions. There's a more personal reason for this book. I am drawn back to my own past, and I want to purify it. I will tell of my search, naming the authors who helped me to cope with life. I will experience again why I had to go beyond them. I hope that this will convince others that they do not themselves have to read such authors in the search for truth.
Next, we present this collection.
Just for a second. If everyone could check their phone, and please see that it's in silent mode. Your mobile, please check that it's in silent mode.
Thank you, Mark. Next, we present this collection of Satsvarupa Maharaj's very wonderful writings on the topic of reading Srila Prabhupada's books. Titled Reading Among Friends, this material was originally published in the 1990s monthly magazine Among Friends and has been put together for the first time in this beautiful new volume. After reading this collection, Maharaj commented that he was at a high point when he wrote the pieces contained in this book. Readers will be left inspired and hankering to find some quality time to read Prabhupada's books. Here's a sample.
The subject matter in Srila Prabhupada's books is deep, inspiring, and urgent. It calls the soul to give up false arguments and Bhaja Govinda, worship Govinda. We read and feel the currents of Krishna consciousness running through us. Prabhupada described it like that. When a devotee is linked to Krishna in bhakti, then the spiritual current flows through him. And here's an excerpt from Renunciation Through Wisdom. When this supernatural energy of unlimited Krishna is reposed in us, all our thoughts and feelings, our physical body, our mind, our knowledge, and so on, are energized by it. Every endeavor then simply merges into this flow of energy, and we become like a lotus growing from the mud, in the world, but uncontaminated by it. End of that quote. Shravanam is the first item in bhakti. Therefore, reading can connect us to the unlimited flow, to Krishna himself. Shrim Vatan Swakapa, Krishna Punya Shravanam Kirtanaha. Reading is itself pious activity, and when we do it, Krishna personally cleans the dirty things remaining in our hearts.
Two more books in the set of Satsvarupa Maharaj's books about reading have been republished for this festival, From Copper to Touchstone and C.C. Ashraya, both about reading the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Satsvarupa Maharaj's festivals provide opportunities for him to share the results of his service to Srila Prabhupada, namely his writings. His books are written primarily for his disciples, and it pleases him when disciples read and appreciate his books. He dedicates his books to Srila Prabhupada, and in the new edition of From Copper to Touchstone, he adds a message to one of his disciples. Quote, I would like to thank my dear, loyal disciple and friend, Hariyashva Das, for his personal love for this book, From Copper to Touchstone. It was his own ardent desire to see it back in print that has provided encouragement and impetus for my book production team to republish it in the form of this new edition. Hariyashva, this one's for you. Thank you.
The Bhagavad Gita ends with surrender to Krishna. The Bhagavatam then gives us information about Krishna's name, form, pastimes, and qualities. By reading the Bhagavatam, we can see Krishna face to face. Prabhupada states, one can derive from the study of the Bhagavatam all benefits that are possible to be derived from the personal presence of the Lord. It carries with it all the transcendental blessings of Lord Sri Krishna that we can expect from his personal contact. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.40 purport. After reading the Bhagavatam, we can then approach the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhupada writes in Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, actually, Chaitanya Charitamrita is not intended for the novice, but it is the postgraduate study of spiritual knowledge. Ideally, one begins with Bhagavad Gita and advances through Srimad Bhagavatam to the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Although all these great scriptures are on the same absolute level, for the sake of comparative study, Chaitanya Charitamrita is considered to be on the highest platform. Then what is our qualification to study such a book? Our qualification is our strict practice of Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada creates our further qualification by referencing this advanced subject for our more basic philosophical understanding. Prabhupada did not insist that we avoid the Chaitanya Charitamrita until we had read his other books. Instead, he allowed us to taste Krishna's sweetness from wherever we were inclined to enter.
And from C.C. Ashraya, a diary while attempting to read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita.
I would like someone to come into this room and see me reading the best book, see me thinking the best thoughts, and to hear me repeating them. The devotee is not agitated. He always expects Krishna's mercy. But I'm restless. I think of an excuse to get up and leave the room. Then I come back here and regret that I interrupted my reading, where the 9 symptoms of bhava are elaborated on one by one. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya teaches Sanatana Goswami about life's ultimate goal. He describes the 9 symptoms of bhava, the ones by which we can assess ourselves rather than by measuring our bodily ecstasies. The first symptom is forgiveness. The second, concern that time should not be wasted. We could look at this list every day and meditate on how to forgive, how to follow this path to its conclusion. Other symptoms, a taste for chanting the holy name, affection for those places where the Lord resides, absence of false prestige, hope against hope, and eagerness to attain Krishna. I tend to be disturbed by my physical pain. When one pain subsides, another one arises. But if love for Krishna in a seedling stage is fructified in one's heart, one is not agitated by material things. And that's from C.C. Madhya 2320.
In the 1980s, Satsvarupa Maharaj began writing books about Japa, starting with Japa Reform Notebook. Besides Srila Prabhupada, no one in ISKCON at that time had written their own book about chanting Hare Krishna. Satsvarupa Maharaj went on to write a total of 7 books on Japa, 2 of which were never published for general consumption until now. For the first time, all 7 of these books are now available in this beautiful set with covers designed by Mahaprabhu. We'll read excerpts from the 2 of these books that you've never heard of, starting with Japa with Pen, 20 Prayers Written in Vrindavan, from 1989.
My dear Lord Krishna, dear Srila Prabhupada, I ask forgiveness and reinstatement in devotional service. I long to appreciate the Achintya, Lord Krishna, who cannot be known by blunt senses. May your glories be known all over the world as desired by Prabhupada. May we all work for that together. May my writing contribute to it. Dear Lord, your names are beyond me because my mind is so restless. Please help me concentrate when I chant. We devotees all desire to hear your holy names, and so I write them also. Please take away my offenses and fault-finding towards devotees. May I chant with love the Hare Krishna mantra, for what good is my life?
And from 1995's Day by Day, a record of a 7-day Japa Vrata.
Today is a nice day, despite the painful start. Headache, the ferry cancelled, but we got on to another. We came to Scotland and the devotees met us. We followed their car to a cottage they had rented for a week. Twice they got lost on the way. Now we are here and peaceful. Prabhupada Murti is bathed, offered lunch, and given his afternoon rest. I just met with the devotees, 4 of us, and outlined the program for the next 7 days, chanting 64 rounds per day. Can we do it? Try one day at a time and report some of it here. This day is here with a proposed 64 rounds. It is well spent. The 6 p.m. meetings are nice, with each of us speaking some of the glories of the names and how we feel. Last night I read that the name is none different than Krishna himself, but this can only be realized in a fenceless state. It's done by practice. It's done when Krishna shows his favor on you. We all beg for that favor.
It's Japa with pen and Day by Day. The Japa set includes Japa Reform, begging for the nectar of the holy name, Japa Walks, Japa Talks, 108 Japa Poems, and Japa Transformations. And we'll have a few of these wonderful sets on sale at the book tables. Next, we have the 9th book in the set of Satsvarupa Maharaj's Srila Prabhupada's Centennial Year writings. Only 2 or 3 copies of each of these books were printed after they were first written. This one is called Writing Sessions at Manu's House.
All glories to the chanting of the holy names. I intend to give a class to disciples here on Saturday with all selections on chanting Hare Krishna. I'm already into, quote, motivated, unquote, reading to prepare for classes. This is typical of the travel life. It's okay. It's a way to experience random reading in Srila Prabhupada's books, which are like a sugar tree. It will dip me into Srimad Bhagavatam, which I want. Even if you can't surrender to Krishna, you can at least chant the holy names. Of all the orders of the Lord, it is the most important. So it comes first in our day. I can preach this. Some devotees recently admitted to me they're not chanting their 16 rounds. So at least I'm doing my own numerical strength. I have no desire right now to increase the quota to 20, 25, or 32, but would very much like to improve the quality in those 2.5 hours or more that are dedicated to chanting. It's so hard because other thoughts need to be put aside, and you concentrate not so much on thinking, but on the Japa Yajna of uttering Harinam and hearing it with your ears.
If you've been collecting this series, the 10th and final volume, My Purpose at Isola di Albarella, will be available at Satsvarupa Maharaj's summer meeting. Next, we have a new edition of the first of Satsvarupa Maharaj's autobiographical books, Memories, originally published in 1997.
We pare from our lives anything that is not Krishna conscious. Therefore, it is natural to remember those things that we did during our Krishna conscious practices and to forget the rest. Yet some of those other memories must remain because we want to make a truthful testament. We don't want to be guilty of hagiography or turning ourselves into ideal saints. We have seen a few such treatments written by Srila Prabhupada's grand disciples about their initiating gurus. Although it is true that Prabhupada's disciples were all fortunate objects of his mercy, it is also true that most of them underwent conversion between the ages of 16 and 30. When we read that their guru showed spiritual tendencies since childhood, and that his childhood was like no other childhood, we begin to wonder if it's true. Aren't they idealizing their spiritual master, trying to present him as a picture of perfection? Rather, their spiritual master might have been rascal number one, as Prabhupada puts it. He might have been more like Valmiki before he met his spiritual master. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I would like to tell you frankly how I feel about capturing the examples in my own life of less than perfection. I feel a sense of accomplishment when I can take a piece of the mosaic of my life and place it in its context of my present. I feel the sense of accomplishment especially when I take a shattered piece, a painful piece, a piece that had no connection to Krishna consciousness. Of course, there is no shortage of such memories, and by letting them out one by one and then leaving them behind, I almost feel as if I am paving the way to the more pleasant memory that Prabhupada saved me, and that my life now is real.
Another well-loved old favourite that's now back in print is My Relationship with Lord Krishna. The new edition has a fine new cover based on the original design, and the book production team thanks Shamagopa Devi Dasi for the photographs of Gita Nagari that she provided to help make this book as true to the original as possible.
Our budding God consciousness is the spiritual master's gift to us. The spiritual master didn't create us. We are eternal souls. But he awoke us out of our gross ignorance. He saved us from our karma. We cannot even estimate the debt we owe him. Yet he tells us, go now, serve Lord Krishna, worship him, tell everyone you meet about Krishna. He instructs us to take up our relationship with Krishna. If a disciple takes his relationship with Krishna to heart and shows symptoms of becoming attached to Krishna, the spiritual master is pleased. The jiva's relationship with Krishna is clearly explained in the scriptures. Why then should we explore our personal relationship with Krishna? Although we must make a constant effort to hear about the nature of our relationship with the Lord from the Shastra, we need to ask ourselves why, after all these years, we are not better acquainted with Krishna. Why don't we speak of his activities and qualities more naturally? Why can't we pray to him readily as our protector and best friend? Srila Prabhupada has given each of us permission to speak to Krishna directly while we chant Hare Krishna and in prayer. Prahlad Maharaj says there is nothing wrong with a person, even a child, expressing his sincere feelings to God. We should not abandon our own attempts to offer prayers to the Lord, even though great souls like Brahma and Shiva are not able to praise him adequately. Anyone who wishes to get out of the material world should purify himself by offering prayers to the Supreme Lord.
We have two newly republished books in Satsvarupa Maharaj's prayer series. Vandanam, of which we have some copies available today, and My Dear Lord Krishna Volume 1, which devotees can find on Amazon, but there was insufficient time to get copies for sale for today. Vandanam was written in response to devotees requesting a more organized approach to prayer than was given in entering the life of prayer, and indeed it intentionally follows naturally in sequence from that book.
Thanksgiving. Prayers of thanks are recognition of God's favor on the devotees. We would be ingrates if we always asked the Supreme Lord for favours but never expressed gratitude for all the mercy He's always bestowing on us. There are many Shastric examples of this type of prayer. Prahlad Maharaj thanked the Lord for sending his pure devotee, Narada, to become Prahlad's spiritual master. That's Bhagavatam 7.928. In Bhishma's prayers at the time of his passing away, he thanked the Lord for graciously appearing before Bhishma at the end of his life. And in the prayers of Queen Kunti, she thanked the Lord for the bounty that He has bestowed on the earth during His presence. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits, the rivers are flowing, the hills are full of minerals, and the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. That's from Bhagavatam 1840. The thankful mood of the devotee is just the opposite of demons, who sometimes pray to the demigods, but who are more interested in getting boons from them than in developing a loving, grateful relationship.
Other books now available on Amazon include a new hardbound edition of the 5-volume set of Prabhupada Meditations, and also the previously acclaimed Niti Shastras. These are so recently republished that we do not have any copies to sell at this festival. However, you can purchase these books and My Dear Lord Krishna Volume 1 from Amazon, where you can find these along with all the other Gita Nagari Press books currently in print, by searching for Satsvarupa Das Goswami in the books section and filtering for newest arrivals. There are also a growing number of Satsvarupa Maharaj's recently published and republished books available in Kindle format. Thank you very much for your attention during the book presentation. We now pass you back to Madan Gopal Prabhu for the next item on today's program.
Guru Maharaj ki. So you got just a sampling of the incredible nectar, just a few little droplets, just to whet your appetite. So we have a very rich program lined up for you today. There is, the next part of it is going to be of course we're going to look at books. So we're going to reveal the books that are hiding over there. So that's the next part of the program. And you can also come in, if you do come to talk to Guru Maharaj, please keep it very brief, like under a minute. And we'll try not to crowd this area very much. So after the book table session, which should be about an hour or so, an hour and 15 minutes, which is how much we allocated, and around noon time, we will have the Pushpanjali, Aarti Kirtan, the formal celebration. And then after that, there'll be Prasadam. So please, when you're going through these books, try to think of ways that you can share what you've discovered here today with your friends, with other devotees. See if you can brainstorm ways to, say, distribute dozens of these instead of just taking one or two. You know the devotees in the world are really thirsting for this information. It's not just information, it is inspiration. And it's inspiration that is incredibly, seasoned and well cured, if you will. And it's curated, and everybody knows, how wonderful food items that age well. This is the finest of the fine items. So please relish these books. Please take as many of them as you can. We have Krishna Bhajan Prabhu over here. We have Baladev Prabhu also is over here. We have quite a few devotees sitting in the book tables there, and as well as a separate book section there. This whole wall of books is available. There are some books. Oh yes, of course. And then there's Srila Prabhupada's Kirtan Standards book by His Holiness Jadadev Swami Maharaj.
Proceeds to the house.
And he's donating the proceeds to the house. Very well. Thank you. So please take those books as well. These paintings, some of them are for sale as well.
They're all for sale.
Okay, all of them are for sale.
Beautiful paintings.
So, what's that? except for the main picture Prabhupada painting here. This is not for sale, but all the others, they are for sale. Please take these. These are unique paintings. They're not copies. They're not reprints. They're one of a kind. And they're all original Satsvarupa Goswami Maharaj paintings. So it's a nice way to adorn your home and to remember the free-flowing nature of the heart and the art of Satsvarupa Maharaj, and the joy that comes with allowing the heart to flow freely in the direction of Srila Prabhupada, in the direction of Lord Krishna. And they supplement the books really well, by the way. They pair well, if you will. So please, now we don't have many copies of some of the newer ones. So if you're interested, you can also let us know, and we can send them to you later on, or we can, we'll let you know when they're available in print. It's quite a celebration today of books. 24, 25 new volumes, never before seen content, and lots of old classics are available. Guru Maharaj has published.
Credit, you take credit card.
Oh, of course, yeah, and we do take credit cards as well. So don't fret about that, and you can make payments with credit cards, cash, checks as well. So please bring forward whatever you like. So thank you very much again for your kind attention and your valuable time. We are very fortunate. Guru Maharaj is feeling in good health today and was able to give us energy. Let us all pray together for Guru Maharaj's continued strong health. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare